Welcome to the Reddit Chronicles. Today we will be reading from Am I the Jerk? Our first post is by Short Baseball. Am I the jerk for telling my wife she has to stay home to watch the kids until she replaces the nanny she fired because I work from home? My wife Danielle, 33, has a job that requires her to go into the office every day. I, 42, work from my home office. We have 2 children, 2 and 4. We had a nanny, Esme, whom we hired after we moved to this city for my wife's job. We do not have family in this city. Esme was with us since we got here 6 months ago. She was excellent at her job, and she was a pleasant person in general. Danielle got it into her head that Esme was going to try and get me away from her. She fired her. It was a ridiculous assertion. I love my wife, but she insisted. She then proceeded to kibosh any nanny that the agency sent, even the male one, because she thought it was weird to have a male nanny. She wants me to watch the kids since I'm home anyway. I said that there was no way that was happening. I bring home 65% of our income. I cannot watch the kids and work. I have dealt with this temporarily by inviting my parents to stay with us so they can watch the kids. Danielle hates this. She likes my folks, but she doesn't like having them here 100% of the time. However, neither her mom or dad are able to help. I told her that if she wants my parents to go home, she either has to replace our nanny or she has to stay home to watch the kids. She says that I'm the jerk for devaluing her work and expecting her to watch the kids because she's the woman. I'm not. I think she created this situation, and it's her responsibility to deal with it. The AA writes in the comments below, "Not the jerk, this is a problem of her own making, and Danielle has offered no solution here. She fired Esme over her own insecurities, then disagrees with having your parents over for so long, and then thinks that working from home means you're basically free to look after the kids as well. She is devaluing your work by expecting you to watch the kids whilst work from home. Even if you didn't bring in the majority of the household income, her stance is insulting to you." Our next post is by Logical Carpet. Am I the jerk for telling my wife I'm not going to sacrifice my hobbies just so that I can babysit? My wife Jane, 34F, and I, 38M, have been together for 5 years. She also brought my stepdaughter Emily, 9F, into our marriage. We have her for 4 days a week, Monday to Thursday, while she's at her dad's Friday to Sunday. From the beginning, Jane told me Emily doesn't need a second father figure as she has her dad to fill that role. I was only supposed to be a trusted authority figure in case she ever needed anything. I didn't mind and try my best to respect that boundary. She's a sweet child anyway and doesn't cause trouble, so it's not like I have to discipline her. Her father is also a good dad. Emily's dad recently got married, and his wife has 2 kids of her own who are at their place Wednesday to Saturday, and at their dad's Sunday to Tuesday. Emily and her new step-siblings don't get along at all. They're always fighting, and it's pretty toxic. Emily's dad asked Jane if they change their custody schedule to match his step-kids to keep the children apart. It's not a big deal in and of itself because we don't live far from each other, so picking and dropping is no issue, and she can easily be dropped off to school no matter where she stays. The issue is my wife agreed to it without consulting me. Jane is currently doing a certification course for the next 12 months, and they have classes on Saturdays from 9 to 5 p.m. She asked me if I can babysit Emily on Saturdays, but I can't because I play golf with my brother and sister on Saturday mornings from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. This has been our tradition from before Jane and Emily came into my life, and I had told Jane from much before that this is important to me and my siblings. She asked if I can move to another day, but that's not possible either because my siblings also have jobs and families of their own. So Saturday was the best day for us. I told her she can hire a babysitter, but she doesn't want to spend money when I can do it for free. I told her that wouldn't work for me. She then got mad and said golf is stupid and I should put my stepdaughter over my siblings. That pissed me off, so I told her I'm not going to sacrifice my hobbies just so that she can have a free babysitter. For the record, I don't have anything against Emily. I've babysat her before, and she's a good kid. If there was a family emergency or if it was an occasional occurrence, then yeah, I would cancel golf for that day to take care of her, but I can't give up something this important to me for 12 months continuous. She called me a selfish jerk and slept on the couch last night. So am I the jerk? Our next post is by Thick Price. Am I the jerk for suggesting to my friend that she should shave? My 29F friend, let's call her Emily, 32F, is an amazing person. She's fun, adventurous, intelligent, super active, a fantastic cook, outgoing, and just a great girl to be around. A few years ago, she decided not to shave anymore. Legs, armpits, female areas, out of protest to the patriarchy, resulting in her having very long dark hair everywhere. A few days ago, we were having a beer, and she told me how sad her dating life was, that she kept meeting guys and having very fun dates, but never got a call back, or when she tried asking for a second or third date, got rejected in a very generic manner. Now after telling her, "You're so gorgeous and wonderful, the right man will come, don't worry," multiple times, I decided to go out on a limb and said something along the lines of, "I know this is a very superficial thing to say, but do you think it might help a little if you would shave?" She was very taken aback and told me she was disappointed I would suggest she change her appearance for men, and that I was the reason so many women were suppressed. I immediately apologized, but the evening was pretty much ruined. I texted her the next day apologizing again for hurting her, but she hasn't replied. I really did not want to hurt her, but I also don't quite see how my comment was that bad, so I am not sure how to phrase my apology. So, decided to take it here and ask people here how big of a jerk I am. Update: I am absolutely overwhelmed by the amount of reactions this got. Thank you all so much for your well-worded answers and for your inputs. Emily messaged me yesterday evening asking if we could talk about the whole thing, and we had a phone call. She started by apologizing for her reaction and by the things she said to me. I told her that I wanted her to know that I and many others love her for who she is, and the last thing I wanted was to suggest that she change herself for a guy. Another important piece of advice I got here was to make sure she actually was asking for my opinion and not just venting. So I told her that I was very worried I had given her unsolicited advice. Thankfully, she didn't see it that way. She told me I had always been a loyal friend who had her back, and she always had valued my advice, which was why she was so taken aback by my comment. I told her that what I should have said is that I feel like in the past, she has been attracted to men who don't necessarily share her values, and that she might need to be more clear with her dating choices and first make sure they align with her values to avoid being disappointed. She also agrees with this, and we really had a great conversation after that. Thanks again to you all for the insightful comments and for your help. Our next post is by Race Relations. Am I the jerk for calling my friend's girlfriend creepy because she won't stop bringing up my race? I, 25F, have a group of friends, all 24 to 26 years old, 8 in total, that includes a guy. I'll call him Nick. Nick has a girlfriend. I'll call her Josie, 24. And they've been dating 8 to 9 months. Nick introduced Josie to the group about 6 months ago. Both Josie and I are mixed race. The rest of the group is white. Ever since we met Josie, she's made really out-of-pocket comments too about me concerning racially related things. Things like asking me if and why all my friends are white, questions about my mother's African background, comments about how I do my hair, like how I shouldn't straighten it. I always try to steer the conversation away from these topics and laugh it all off, but she brings it up so often. Nick says she's just trying to find a foothold in the friend group, but I don't see why she can't try to get to know me or anyone in the group as people, rather than just bringing up this irrelevant thing we have in common. I also pointed out to Nick that Josie and I may both be half African, but not the same country in Africa. It's wildly different cultures. Even if I was raised in an African culture, which I wasn't, it wouldn't be one similar to hers, so really it's grasping at straws. And that's to say nothing of the fact that it makes me uncomfortable. Anyway, over the weekend, we all had a boat day, and we were having lunch. We were talking about school, and I mentioned that one of the schools I went to had predominantly Asian students. Josie asked if there were any black students in my year, and I said yes, but I didn't know them very well. She then asked if the reason I wasn't friends with them is because they thought I wasn't black enough. I don't know if it was that comment or the countless ones before it, but I just felt so angry that she would once again take a conversation that everyone was participating in and make it into a race thing for no reason. I said, "No, Josie, that's not why we weren't friends. Frankly, the only person I've ever met who is obsessed with my racial identity is you. And just so you know, it's really creepy." Josie tried to stutter an apology, but I said the only apology I was interested in was it not being brought up again, and my boyfriend jumped in and changed the topic. Nick later took me aside and said I'd really upset Josie, and she was just trying to bond with me. He said she has trauma, he didn't go into detail, about her race, and by humiliating her, I'd made her really uncomfortable. I told him that that wasn't my problem, and I'm not going to be Josie's emotional support, colored friend, and if he thought I should be, then I wasn't sure what that said about how he views me. Nick is now mad at me for insinuating he's racist, and 2 friends have taken his side. I don't think I was wrong for wanting Josie to respect me like everyone else, but evidently people think what I said was harsh. Was it? Thank you for listening to the Reddit Chronicles. Follow for more content.